a guy named Len Birchall, who Winston Churchill called the savior of Ceylon. And I knew Len as an honorary colonel. We were together back in the day. He's passed away now. But he was flying a Canso in January of 1942 after Pearl Harbor out of Ceylon, and they were trying to find the Japanese fleet, and they were having trouble doing that, and he located them, and he circled the fleet, or in the vicinity, past the warning and so on, and they diverted a British flotilla to cut off the Japanese fleet, and the Japanese decided to turn around and go find an easier target. But in the process, Len was shot down. And he spent the rest of the war in a POW camp being treated incredibly badly. He was the senior officer in that particular camp. He was a squadron leader, which is like a major in the Royal Air Force. So he took all the punishment for his troops. He was one of the Japanese sergeants who was beating a crippled American POW, and Birchall beat the crap out of him. And of course, that was not taken with good humor by the Japanese. He was marched out in front of the camp, blindfolded, and he said he stood there and he was ready to die. And a guy raised his sword and swished and just nicked his neck. And then he let him go. And this happened 3 days in a row.
Wow.
They marched out in front of the whole camp, said, "You're going to die." And he didn't. On the third day, he got up and he said, "Sergeant," whatever his name was, "you've just made a terrible mistake. We're going to win this war, and I'm going to watch you hang." And we won the war. And through some of Birchall's testimony, that guy and a bunch of others were convicted of war crimes. And he was there when the guy was hanged, and he said, "You expletive, I told you we were going to win the war. I'm going to watch you hang. Now I'm going to watch you hang." And he did. And knew him, many, years later as an honorary colonel. He was well into his 80s, but people still listened to Len. What he said had an impact on them, and I think changed a lot of them about their sort of attitude to, now there's a guy who's dedicated.